Now we come to a very important thing. It's called the Metcalf Principle. Okay, we've got a lot to do today. Good morning, California.
Good morning, Las Vegas. How are you, Ed?
We are doing well. We're getting started because we have a lot of stuff to do today.
Okay. Everyone here, we know the assignment, and
Great.
we're already. There's only probably a few of the new students that really don't know how to create circles and communities. So
Okay.
we'll do those, but the majority do.
Good. Good. Okay. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Ed.
How are you today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Metcalf Principle today. Quickly, we're going to talk about the Metcalf Principle. So there's a guy named Robert Metcalf who worked at Xerox PARC, which is the Palo Alto Research Center for Xerox. This is 30 years ago. This is the place that Apple and Microsoft both stole technology from, like the mouse, like the graphical user interface. And so Xerox had this think tank, really smart people, and they were pretty much left free to do whatever they wanted. And what else is in Palo Alto? Does anybody know? Anybody ever hear of Palo Alto?
Silicon Valley.
Huh?
Silicon Valley.
Okay, good. That's Silicon Valley's partially there. What's the most important thing in Palo Alto?
Google.
Stanford, right, Stanford University. So Xerox had their research center there, so they had some of the best and brightest minds. And one guy was a guy named Robert Metcalf, who left there and started a company called Palm. Anybody remember Palm? Palm? Palm Pilot, right. So they created the Palm Pilot, which was the precursor to smartphones in a lot of ways. The technology wasn't there for smartphones at the time of Palm Pilot, but anybody here have a Palm Pilot? Yeah, I did. All right. So anyway, Robert Metcalf is also famous for something called the Metcalf Principle, which talks about how do you figure out what the value of a network is. So what kind of companies have networks? Cable companies, okay, places that have a lot of places out there that they collect money from. Netflix has a network, television stations, cable TV stations. You can look at Starbucks as a network. Any place that has a lot of locations, and those are called nodes. So Robert Metcalf was trying to figure out how can we tell the value of something that has more than one location. Let's say a restaurant. Is the value, if I have one restaurant and I add another one, is it worth twice as much? If I have two restaurants and they're within driving distance of one another, is that the same value as if I have one here and another one several hundred miles away? What if I have four restaurants? Is that worth 4 times the amount? Okay, so Mike says no. So what is the value?
Exponential.
Okay. So Joe says exponential.
You have to add in the individual value of each one, wouldn't you?
Okay. Well, that would mean if you had 2, it would be 1 plus 1 is 2, right? So it would be double.
Because one could be doing good, one could be doing.
So 1 is worth 100. What if I have 2, and they're each worth 100? Wouldn't George say that's what the equation is?
If they were both worth 100, yeah.
They're both worth 100. So Robert Metcalf looked at that and said, that doesn't seem right. Because if I have 4, that means the value is 400. But I know that because it's synergy, that where 1 plus 1 equals 3, 4, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 can't equal 4. It has to equal more than that. So under the Metcalf principle, this equals $100 times 1 squared, which is how much? What's 1 squared? 1.
1 times 1 is still 1.
Okay, so it's worth 100. Okay, now if I say 100 times 1, no, times 2 squared equals what? 400. What if I say 100 times 4 squared?
1600.
1600. So it's not worth 400 does not equal 1600. Right? Who thinks 400 equals 1600 is the same? Okay. Well, how does this become true? How is this true? Why isn't it just numbers? Why do we say it's squared? Why don't we say it's 1.5? Okay, I don't know the answer to how he came up with squared. But what is the conclusion that we get from this? If you're going to open a restaurant, what's the conclusion?
Open 4.
Don't open 1, open more. And what is one of Nolan Bushnell's things? What is one of his sayings that he's famous for? If you're going to start a business, I think some people have heard me say it before. So if you're starting a business and no one else does this, because he is an entrepreneur, he does startups. He doesn't copy people. So he said, if you're going to start a business, if world domination is not your goal, what's the point? So if you're going to start a business, don't just do 1. So if you now take this out there, can somebody just quickly do a Google query, number of Starbucks locations? It should take about 4 seconds. Okay, so the time it takes, huh? Yeah. 21,000. Okay. So this would say the value of Starbucks is 21,000 squared. The value of 1, which could be $1 million, could be more than $1 million, times 21 million squared. 21,000 squared. That would be the value of Starbucks. Yeah. So you can just put that in the search line, 21,000 times 21,000.
Like, partially, 440 points.
Okay, with 12 zeros. Okay. So it's a big number. Okay. So it's a big number. So that's the value of Starbucks as a network. But the market cap of Starbucks is a lot lower. Because why? What is the stock traded on? How are stock prices set? Joe, do you know this?
I don't know, net.
How are the price of stock set?
I'd have to think about it, but net, perception, I don't know.
Okay, so it's basically just what people believe.
Yeah.
It's just based upon expectations. I think the price is going to go up. This is a great company. I think the price is going to go up. I think they're going to make more money. So it should be this. I think this is a great company. I think they're going to make more money next year. Supply and demand. There's a certain number of shares outstanding. If demand goes up, what happens to the price? The price goes up. If you have an increase in demand and you hold supply steady, then the price of that has to go up. So the stock market just goes up and down based upon what people expect. If they think the economy is going to crash, are you going to want to own stock in companies? No. Okay, why is the stock market going up if bad things are happening? No. Okay, well, that could be one reason.
Well, they believe it's going to get better.
Well, that's one reason. But the smart people like Apple, that have a cash flow problem, or they have so much cash they don't know what to do with it. If you're a company that has money to invest, the place to invest it is the stock market because it's been going up. And that causes it to do what? Go up. It causes it to continue to go up because demand is high. So companies invest in the stock market, mutual funds, et cetera, invest in the stock market right now because it's going up, and they know that if demand is held steady, the price is going to keep rising until there's no more demand. Then it'll stay flat. And then when people decide they want to sell, what's going to happen? The price will go down. You don't have people that want to buy it. So Starbucks is not worth what the Metcalf Principle says it should be worth just because of external forces. It doesn't have anything to do with Starbucks. Okay, anyway, why is that important? Why is the Metcalf Principle important? Because we create our own networks. And it starts in Google Plus with what? What are we studying? What are we doing today? Circles. It starts with circles. So the number of people you have in your circles, the number of circles you have, increases your value. The Metcalf Principle applies to you. Why? Why would that be true? How could that possibly make sense? How could that make sense? That the number of circles you have and the number of people in your circles increases your value to an employer. Yes, Dennis?
You're more accessible to more people, and you're able to create a broader network. So your value, you know more people, your value increases.
Right. So basically, that's right. So if you have a lot of circles, and you have a lot of people in those circles, you have the ability to influence a lot of people's lives. Right? If you have the ability to influence a lot of people's lives, should that make you more or less valuable? More. Duh. Right. So Mike gave the right response. Duh. So, but if you don't have a lot of circles, does that mean you're less valuable? No, not really. It's hard to demonstrate. If you, whatever your value is, you could be very valuable. You could be Bill Clinton. You could be extremely valuable, but you'd be more valuable if you have your life with your circle set up and you're managing your circles.
Like the TED Talks, when people get 2 million clicks on their TED Talk, more likely that they're going to influence more people.
Right, so it's kind of self-evident, right? The more people we touch, the more we have the ability to influence their lives, the more we have the ability to influence their lives, the greater value we possibly have. So let's think in terms of Hitler. When Hitler was in prison, did he influence as many people's lives as when he was the Fuhrer?
No.
Why not?
He was locked away.
Because he was in prison. Yeah, he was locked away. He couldn't reach that many people. But he reached enough people to change, to cause things to change.
That's why he was in prison, because he couldn't reach enough people in the first place.
Well, okay, so that's a good point. He was in prison because he couldn't reach enough of the right people to keep him out of prison. But he reached enough of the wrong people that said, what? This guy's too dangerous. We can't let this guy out on the street. The same thing happened with Castro. What happened with Castro? He was thrown in prison for crimes against the state.
And then he was exiled.
What?
And then he was exiled.
Then he was exiled. Who else was exiled in history that later it was like, oops, we should have just killed him? That means you can't. You have to leave your country. Huh? Saddam was not exiled. He was killed. It means you cannot. You have to leave your country and not come back. So Ayatollah Khomeini was exiled from Iran, from Persia, by the last Shah because he was too dangerous. That was a mistake.
So was Lenin of the former Soviet Union.
And Lenin, let's see, I think maybe Trotsky was, a lot of guys involved in the Russian Revolution were exiled. It's always a very dangerous game when you exile people because it gives them the opportunity to regroup and come back even stronger. The Shah was exiled, but he died of cancer, within a few years. He couldn't regroup, but he wanted to go back. So, having circles makes it easier to reach the people you want in the right way. So here's an example of how that becomes important. So Lenin, and when I say Lenin, who do I not mean?
John.
I don't mean John Lennon, right? Okay. So Lenin said if you want to have a revolution, what you need to do is have an inner core of people, like 12 people or less, who know what's going on. And then they go tell this other group of people a slightly different story. And they go tell this other group of people something else. And I think the Russian Revolution, it was the teachers' union, who was this group out here. So they had, I think it was all the teachers talking about we need to reform, the Tsar needs to change. We demand certain rights. Have to do this because this is just not right. So they're out there spreading the word. And so here's this circle here that these people all have their little circle. That they're having report to them. How many people did you talk to today? What did you say in your school? Here's the talking points to talk to your students in school today. Do this, do that, etc. And then each of these people have their talking points too. The message in this circle is not the same as the message in this circle. Okay? And maybe this guy has multiple circles. This is the circle in this town, this is the circle in the next town over. And these people are getting daily updates or hourly updates or updates, every minute, whatever it is, but they're not seeing the same thing these people are. Yeah.
Is it because they want it that way, or is it like playing the game telephone? I don't know, where you pass
Good
the
question.
on.
So, no, Lenin said you have to do it this way. Because these 12 people have a secret. The secret is, we don't want reforms. We're going to kill the guy. And we're going to kill his family, and we're going to kill everybody. But if these people know we're going to kill him, are they going to participate? No. What's the government going to do if we go around saying we're going to kill the Tsar? They're going to kill us. Okay. So Lenin said if you want to have a revolution, you have to have like a very small number of people, like 12. And then, to put it in today's Google Plus terms, these people all have their multiple circles. They all have their little circles, and they're all basically saying the same thing at the same levels to their organizers. But at the end of the day, the people actually doing the work are giving a politically not neutral, but not dangerous speech. It's the level of speech, and they believe it. These teachers didn't know what was going on back here. Because if they did know, they would say, no, we're not in favor of that. We just want reform. We don't want communism. We just want reform. We want more freedom. We don't want less freedom. So think in terms of your circles, your ability, or think in terms of Google Plus is the ability to have circles that can affect change. The more circles you have, the better, more clear those circles are, meaning so they're not fuzzy. Like the message to this circle is very different than the message to this circle. The better you are at that, the more power, the more value, talk in terms of the Metcalf Principle, the more value you have. So today we're going to create some circles. What are some of the circles we're going to create?
Larson circle.
Some of the circles listed on the 9. Okay, friends. Okay, so friends, that's pretty obvious, right? So you should be creating these circles. If you don't have them yet, you should be creating them right now. How do we go about creating a circle? Okay, so we go to home. Well, we don't go to home, but we hover over that. We go to people, right?
When you go to your circles, or you can find the people.
And then what do we do?
Go to your circles.
Go to your circles, right? And then what? Okay, so how many circles do I have?
Too many.
Okay, so I have a lot of circles, right? I don't know how many circles I have, but I have a lot.
Yeah.
So your circles, you have to think in terms of more than one dimension. So you want to also think of them in terms of past, present, and future. Okay? So what circles? Friends, that's obvious. Foes. What's a foe? Okay, somebody that is against you, right? They're not with you, they're against you. So why would we want to have a circle of foes? Exactly right. This is the okay. So Mike brings in the Godfather quote: "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer." So we have a foe circle because we never want to get rid of people out of our contacts. Once we have somebody's contact information, we never, ever, ever want to delete it. We want to exile it. Okay, we don't want to kill it. We don't want to crucify it. We just want to put it over here in a place that we don't have to worry about it accidentally including it in a posting that we didn't want them to know. There's not really any need to get clever in terms of, well, these are business foes, these are personal foes, these are potential foes, these are past foes. You should just have one place to put those people, one maximum security circle. Okay, what's another circle?
You can have LTC staff, LTC Vegas, LTC.
Okay. So, but just starting at the simple ones: friends, foes, and family.
Present.
Right. What?
Present, future.
Okay.
Past.
Followers.
Acquaintances.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Okay. So now you should have one for LTC, whatever campus you have, and you should have everybody's included in that circle. Everybody who's a student at your campus should be included in the circle.
Okay, so put that on there. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and name it. So go ahead and go family.
Because you just, you know, we do projects, we associate, we do stuff. You should have everybody in your circle, and people who are good should also have everybody in the other campus
Okay, create my
in
circle.
your circle. When you post these things on Google Plus, you should always post things to a circle.
Have a circle. Oh, okay. So you have them. Just create one. Let's go with let's go back up.
And if you want to
Erase that.
have just these feel-good postings, oh, I like this picture, I'm going to post it, a little note, or I have these affirmations I like, you know, that's okay. Just don't put me in the circle that you send those to. Okay?
You got one.
I'm completely supportive of you having your affirmations, but I'm not, you know, I'm not interested in them. Nothing personal. You can imagine if you're posting 5 affirmations a day, and so are 45 other people.
There you go. All right, here's your circle.
You know, it's a lot of stuff to wade through. So if you feel that you need to post affirmations because you saw something you like, great.
And then future. Have one.
You should have a circle that is just your private circle. You're the only person in that circle. And call it whatever you want.
Okay. And create.
I call mine research.
Okay, now change one called future.
I see something, I'm just scrolling through Google Plus, looking at postings, I see one I like, I forward it to my personal circle.
Okay. And let's go with one that's called in front. And then we'll stop here.
Okay? Now, so Mike, what circles do you have so far?
Friends, family, acquaintances, LTC.
Okay. So, now you might want to change the name of the LTC LV. Okay? The thing I suggest doing is you make the circles and then you populate the circle. What does that mean to populate? Ronnie, what does that mean?
Fill out a new form.
What does populate mean? Ronnie? Yeah. Put people in the circle. Start out with empty circles, and then when you have extra time during the day, go through, add people to your circle. Okay, so what else? Start working on the circle. I'm going to go look at today's event.
Okay, so let's go back.
Okay, you should make sure that you have a work circle and you have an employment planning circle. You know, one way to think about this is like you're doing gardening, creating a garden. To nurture, just like when you have a garden, you might start with the seed, or you might start going to the store and buying plants that you're going to plant in your backyard. Once you plant them, you need to nurture them so they don't die. You need to keep them relevant. So you always have to go through the circles, and you have to remove, transfer people out who no longer belong. Okay, so everybody should have a friend circle, foe, family, acquaintances, work, past, present, future, school circles, employment planning. Now, since I put this on here, I have another circle that I have, which is people who I don't know, but they followed me. Anybody ever had that? Somebody follows you, you don't know who they are? Yeah. So if you want to follow them back, it asks you, okay, well, what circle?
So, you know, you have to scroll down. Yeah, there you go. Now add that.
Huh?
Now
Yeah.
you
So
have
if you don't know the person, you should have a circle of just people you don't know.
to add
Like they followed you,
that.
or maybe you're cruising around looking at Google Plus and you see a posting you like. Maybe you want to add that person to a
Doing something people
circle of people you follow, not people following you, but people you follow that they don't know who you are.
go back and see when you get to some. Let's put in let's see. Let's go back.
Okay, so now let's just do a little experiment here. Everybody take a short little break and go to where it says profile. Where's that located, Jesse?
Okay, this is just you kind of you see what how to do that.
Right. Everybody go to profile.
Okay. Here, go back up here. And then profile.
And click on profile.
It's on the to the left and the down arrow. And the first one is profile.
Okay. Now, Dennis, would you do this in California, please?
Yes.
I'm going to write down on the board here everybody's number of views that they've had. Now we're going to go back and check this in a couple weeks. So just ask everybody what the number of views they have is. So here's where it has your number of views. Robert? So right here on your page, it says the number of views. Okay? What do you have? Below your picture, last line below your picture. Okay, so Robert, what do you have? Julia.
Right there, Robert. Upper left hand. Scroll down more.
Julia, just go point it out to him.
No, go back.
Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
0. Okay, Jesse. 7. Timmy. He's not here. Suzanne.
28.
Yes, yes.
Wait, Jesse has what?
105.
Who said 7? Oh, Robert. Robert, you have 7. Okay. Monica.
9,000.
Okay. Monica's doing a lot of posting. She did with SPQR or the SPQR obligation. Okay, Michael. 0. Gina, not here. Rachel. 382. Velvet. Okay, another person who does a lot. It is over there, Dawn. How many?
I don't have any.
0?
Yeah.
Literally 0? Okay, Ronnie. Okay, Desmond, not here. Rosie. Rosetta. How many? Never mind. Lupe. Not here. Mika. 1. Okay, good. Okay, now how many do I have?
Couple million.
No, I don't. 879,708. That will probably be
I mean, you have
880,000 something tomorrow.
And I only have 5,800.
Why? How many followers do I have?
Do a lot of posting.
How many followers do I have?
I don't know why I don't post.
you got a gang.
I have gangster reviews.
Huh?
Got a
569 followers. What?
lot of stuff.
I don't.
Who your followers are? Yeah.
But I only posted a few pictures. I've only been here
Correct.
maybe 4
Like
followers.
what you post.
Yeah, because that would be
It's my Chewbacca.
1,000.
Where you would have the number of views would be right up under your name.
Point
So you see, like,
is if you have circles and you work your circles,
that's
you'll
where,
have
like, here's 12
views.
See, like, look on her.
If you say things that are relevant.
She's like right here.
If you just pass on stuff that other people are doing, probably won't get that many views. A better strategy is to post all.
Once you start,
So I have an advantage, right? Because what are some of the things I post? Huh? Hangouts on air, events, posting memorization, hangouts on air. You know, I'm posting 1 or 2 things a day. I don't really post a lot, but maybe say an average of maybe 15 things a week. It's because if you have circles, just posting and not having circles is not nearly as well, because if you post to a circle, what happens? Everybody in that circle gets it, and you have relevance to those people, right? So they see it, and they might click on it. They might want to view it. So there are other techniques that you can do where you have, like, it's just like in National Enquirer. You don't have your whole post visible. You have more of it, so people have to click to see it. Why do people buy National Enquirer? Because it seems interesting. They are very good at creating stories or titles to stories that make you want to read it. Okay? That's how you should do your posting if you want to get people to view your stuff. Is you don't say the whole thing. What you do is you get people to click on it to read the rest of it. Because there's only one little box, right? When you do your posting. Or you attach a file, especially if you attach a file. You know, usually if you attach a picture, that says everything, right? For these affirmation things, if you're going to do an affirmation, you might want to have a link to some text that goes with it. Okay, so who's not still working? Who has all of their folders done, all their circles done? How many circles do you have? Okay, now, when we do a school project here, you should create a circle of that project and put the people in the project. And I think in either yesterday's Shervington video or today's, didn't he say to always add yourself to your own circle? Okay, why do we do that? Huh? Okay, it's just a way to make it easier if you put yourself in your own circle. Kind of counterintuitive, but put yourself in your own circle. Now here's the other thing. Let's see. Monica, what is your favorite TV show right now? Huh? What's that about? Okay. Now, when is that on TV? What time? 6 p.m. 16 p.m. Now, what if the show was on once every 2 months? Would it be your favorite show? Kind of forget about it, right? Now, what if they said, well, sometimes we're on at 6, sometimes we're on at 7, sometimes we're on at 8? Okay? So the same thing goes with circles. If you're going to post, you have to post regularly. When we send out our MailChimp or how-to, when does that get sent out? Anybody here get it? It's sent out every Monday morning at 9:15. It's set to be sent every Monday morning at 9:15. So then people can start expecting it. Or when they see it, they don't say, what's that? So an important thing about circles and posting is you have to do it frequently and regularly, just like TV shows. And in the old days, before Netflix and these other types, Hulu, you have shows that run basically every week, right? Primetime TV, and people would live their life. Did you do that when you were a kid? Any shows you like? Like what, like?
Party of Five.
Okay, Party of Five. What about Lost? Not a fan of Lost. Anybody in here a fan of Lost? No fans of Lost in here? Nobody like Lost?
Teresa, you did?
Okay, one. Okay, what about Blacklist?
Anybody good over here? Anybody need help?
No fans of Blacklist?
Okay.
No fans of the Blacklist in here? Sons of Anarchy?
Oh yeah.
One?
Blue
Okay.
Mountain State.
Yeah, I like.
How about Empire? I just wanted to see if those.
How do you add yourself?
Yeah, I just was checking. Just checking. Okay. So, so those shows are partially popular because they're on at the same time, on the same day. You can count on it. You can look forward to it. The same thing happens with your posting. It's not just about posting every day. It's about posting at the same time every day and trying to post at the right time every day.
You okay, Judy? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to maximize the value of your circles, there's a lot of things you should do, but one of them is to make sure you have the right people in each circle. Now, can you send one message to more than one circle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. You can send it to a lot of your circles.
Right.
You can send a message to family and friends and acquaintances and business people. You can send the same message, but you don't have to. You
Right.
can send different messages to people. So think in terms of just like TV. Have it regular. Have it predictable when it's going to be out there. Try to be like the tabloid magazines and the tabloids in the shopping store, the grocery store, where you have things of interest. And what are people interested in? The most important thing people are interested in. What's the most important thing to you?
Me.
What you can do for them.
The key words are your life. What's the most important thing to you in your life? No, you are the most important thing. Okay? So when you post something, you get a lot further with posts if people can relate it to there's value to me in it, not just value to you. So if you say, hey everybody, here's this aphorism I really like. Not the same as this will change your life. Okay? If people are busy, they might have time to want to change their lives. If they're busy, they probably don't really care so much about what you like. Right, Jesse? Okay, so when you're doing your postings, the purpose of a posting is to get people to read them. So don't go to all the trouble to create a circle, add people to the circle, create a posting, and then put words in that box that aren't interesting to people. Your goal is to get people to believe in you. Because if they believe in you and you tell them something or you ask them to do something, what are they going to do?
Do it.
They're going to do it. Why?
Because they believe in you.
Because they believe in you, right? Okay? It's really that simple. It's not the technology. When you're out selling, bad salespeople make the mistake of thinking that it's the product that sells itself. The product doesn't sell itself. The person sells themselves, and the buyer, if they believe in you, will say, okay. If it's a new product. Now, if it's something that everybody knows, like, say, Coca-Cola, that does sell itself. They spent 150 years getting people to believe that name Coca-Cola. Starbucks, people do that. But if you're out selling some product that doesn't sell itself, you have to sell you. And most new salespeople make the mistake of thinking, I need to bring in brochures, and I got to have this, and I got to have a demo, and I have to have all of these props, because if I don't, people won't buy it. Or they pull out the price list. You have to sell yourself. And the same thing happens when you're posting on Google+. You're getting people to know who you are. So what does that mean in terms of grammar and punctuation? Is it important? Yeah, it's very important. Very important. Punctuation and grammar are very important. If you can't spell words right, people are going to believe that you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, it's break time, so tomorrow we're going to go on to communities, and then on Thursday we'll do Hangout. Dennis, do you have any questions?
Anyone, any questions here? No, everyone's having a lot of fun with this.
Okay. Didn't quite hear that, but okay, great.
No, I'm saying the students are having a lot of fun with it. No question.
Good. Uh-oh. See, in California, they have fun. That's why people do so well. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
I see you. Thank you. All right.
Bye, Joe.